sin was heavy, but chains break at the weight of your glory. I needed shelter, I was an orphan. Now you call me a citizen of heaven. When I was broken, you were my healing. Now your love is the air that I'm breathing. I have a future, my eyes are open, 'cause when you call my name, I ran out of that grave, out of the darkness, into your glorious day. You called my name, and I ran out of that grave, out of the darkness, into your glorious day.
Good morning, Rooted Men. Happy and blessed Thursday morning. Pastor Tom, Firmly Rooted Church, Oxford, Michigan, Greendale, Indiana, and a lot of homes and places in between. Great to have all of you on board as we do our daily devotions. We're looking at Joshua. We're in chapter 5, and we'll talk about that in just a second. Let's see who is on board. I think I saw Ken pop in early. There he is. Good morning, fellow brothers in arms. I'm out there on X as well as Facebook and YouTube. Chris Connolly, good morning. Well, hello there. Great to have you on board. Bert Reggiani, good morning. Chuck B, good morning, as well as about 20 some other people. Great to have you. All right, let me pull up the text. Boom. We're just going to look at a couple verses, but I think they're pretty powerful. So I'm going to read them and then maybe drop the text out and talk about it a little bit. Now, the children of Israel, the second generation, because the first generation wouldn't go across the Jordan River to go into the promised land. They wandered in the wilderness for 40 days. God took care of them. Manna falling, quail falling, water coming out of rocks. I mean, all sorts of ways in which God provided for them. But the first generation died, and a new generation rose up that really only knew the desert and knew that God was faithful provider, right? They woke up every day to manna. In the evening, quail. So God provided bread and meat for them to eat, water when they needed it. So they're ready to go across. They do. And they get to Gilgal. But the one thing that's interesting, they weren't circumcised. All those men were not circumcised. And so God tells Joshua to have all the men and the boys circumcised, and they are. They heal up, and we got these verses here. While the people of Israel were encamped at Gilgal, they kept the Passover on the 14th day of the month in the evening on the plains of Jericho. It's just like God to kind of get them over the Jordan River, get them on the edge of the promised land, and then celebrate the Passover. An annual celebration of the fact that the God of the universe loved his people so much that while they were enslaved in Egypt, he, through 10 plagues, rescued them, brought them out of the most powerful nation in the world without swinging a single sword. Not a single man died on the Israel side, and they ended up walking through the Red Sea on dry ground and eventually going to Mount Sinai, hearing the voice of God. But you know the rest of the story. To have that be the first major festival that you celebrate, it would be like us Christians, you know, I don't know, getting into some type of promised land, and it just happens to be right around Easter, right around Holy Week. Wow, right? So they celebrate the Passover on the 14th day of the month in the evening on the plains of Jericho. And listen, and the day after the Passover, the very next day after the Passover time period was over, on that very day, they ate the produce of the land. Unleavened cakes, parched grain, and the manna ceased the day after they ate of the produce of the land, and there was no longer manna for the people of Israel, but they ate of the fruit of the land of Canaan that year. Hey, good morning, Steve. This land flowing with milk and honey, they begin to eat of it. The whole nation begins to eat off the land of Canaan, which is soon going to be their land, the kingdom of Israel, as they take over more and more territory. In the song Jireh, that God is a provider, I think sometimes we say to ourselves, well, I wish manna would fall from the sky. I wish that, he would cause water to come out of rocks. I wish that he would drop quail in the evening. How about that he's feeding you every day, that he gave you a job and gave you talents and you earn an income and you have a house over your roof? See, we tend to think we did that part. We really have a tendency to think we did that part. Where are you, God? And the very fact that when they entered into the promised land, the manna stopped, doesn't mean God stopped providing. For goodness sake, he finally brought them into the promised land. But it's not going to be a couple generations before they think that they did all that and they built those homes and those farms and they did it. Where are you, God? Look, we're doing all the work. Men, we got to stay humble and we've got to stay true. That God is always providing. Our hearts are beating right now because he says so. Our lungs are going in and out right now because he says so. We have the ability to feel, touch, and smell and see because he says so. Maybe there's 2 cars in our garage and a camper outside or a boat, and we got a house and bedrooms and maybe more bedrooms than we even need because he says so. He's always providing. It's always him. Give us today our daily bread. Do you understand what we say every time we pray the Lord's Prayer? We're saying we know it's not us. We can't do this by ourselves. Without you, we could scrape and scrape and scrape and never get anywhere. You are the one who blesses the steps. You are the one who provides. So yes, it's absolutely miraculous that in a desert, God was able to provide bread, meat, and water. It's equally as miraculous that he went before this nation and they destroyed and took over territory and destroyed kings and countries that were more powerful than them because God provided a land that in and of itself flowed like milk and honey. It was rich. It was everything. So let's take a step back today on this Thursday and remind ourselves that he is a provider God. He always will provide. Well, because he's good and because he's unchanging. So he can never be what he's not. He will always be who he is. Loving, compassionate, providing, caring, protecting. He's a good father. So let's give him praise today. Let's give him thanks today. And maybe just maybe give him credit for what he does. All right. I'll leave it at that. Be back at 8:40 for Strengthening Our Roots. I don't see that anybody else came on board. Blessings on your day. Make it a firmly rooted day, and may someone see Jesus in us today. Peace.